Hello and welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to go over the solution to exercise number 1. So below is a program that finds the greatest common factor by first identifying all factors of the two numbers, then finding their intersection, and finally identifying the largest factor in the intersection set. So here we have the code for this function. And so I'm going to type this out. I'm gonna open a new file and let's save this, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna start by naming this function. So it's good form to use comments to describe what the function does and the purpose of it. So in this case, this is a function that finds the greatest common factor when two numbers are entered. So I'm going to define the function. Let's call it GCF. And it's going to accept two arguments. Okay, so two numbers is what it accepts. And so we're going to create two lists, two empty lists. One is called factors1 and the other is called factors2. And so now we are going to use for loops in order to get the factors of each number. So here we're using the comparison operator. And then we're gonna, if we get a remainder of 0, then we're going to append or add the factor to the list of possible factors. Okay, so that's one for loop. Well, we need another for loop for the other number, for the factors of the other number. Now, in terms of the index variable, it doesn't always have to be I. It can be K, it can be really any letter. It can even be an underscore or something like that. Usually a single character. Usually I is used for index, but it doesn't have to be I. So here I'm using K just to distinguish it from I. If 2, so modulo K is equivalent to 0, which is 2 dot append. Okay, so now we want to find the intersection of both lists to get common factors. So common, so I'm going to declare a new variable called common factors. So set factors1 dot intersection factors2. So this basically finds, so we have two sets of numbers in two lists. And what this does is it compares them and basically takes the intersection of the two sets, the numbers that the two lists have in common. Now what we want to do is we want to find the greatest common factor. So greatest common factor equals, we're going to use the max function, which is a built-in function in Python, which finds the maximum number in a list or array. And then lastly, we want to return the greatest common factor. Okay, and so checking this, it seems to be fine. So let us run this and just see. So what I'm gonna do actually, yeah, so I'm gonna try, let's try, so greatest common factor. So let's try the numbers 18 and 24. So, okay. Name this, we'll call this G factor common GC.py. So we get an error here. So let's have a look at what the issue is. Line 23 in module greatest common factor name is not defined. Okay, so let's have a look here. Oh, okay. It's because, yeah, I used the wrong name, right? Because we are calling this what? We call this GCF, right? Is the name of this function originally. Is the name that we gave it. So we have to use that. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, so far it doesn't do anything. So let's say GCF 1824. It gives 6. Okay, so it does work. Okay, it's just not so if we want to actually have this print out the greatest common factor of 18 and 24, we would have to use the print function and put this inside of the print function, and then it should work. So let's try this. So run module. Okay, and so now we get 6. Then we can try something else. Let's try bigger ones, 25 and maybe let's go with 60. Let's see what happens here. Run. So we get 5 for the greatest common factor, which makes sense here. Okay, so there are explanations of what each part of this function does that I went over already. But I recommend going over the explanations in the code again, just to make sure that you fully understand what each part of the code does, each component of the code. Thank you for watching this lesson.